What's up, everybody? Today we're here to talk Rings of Power. Episode 3 came out, and first and foremost, thanks so much for the feedback on my latest Rings of Power review. That was definitely my pure reaction to the show. And I gotta say, after episode 3, the show continues to disappoint. But what is more disappointing is not just the show, but also how the studio and the media is sort of blaming the fan for the disaster that it's coming out of the show. You know, if people don't like it, you can't express your opinion anymore without being called certain names, and it's just, it isn't right. One of the things that has been happening, for instance, there's an article in Forbes saying Rings of Power is getting review bombed so hard, Amazon suspended reviews entirely. And that is really telling something, even though this article is actually putting some of the blame on the fans, or maybe it's the fact that Tolkien's universe isn't being respected. I mean, to me, it's mostly a soulless, very expensive show that it carries the name Lord of the Rings, but it has nothing Tolkien about it, and that's basically how I can describe this show. The truth of the matter is that whether the studios like it or not, whether Amazon like it or not, the reviews stand at 36 on Rotten Tomatoes versus the 84 from the critics. It's not the first time that the critics rate something really high whilst the fans just literally they just say how they feel. One of the things that is great on YouTube is that here you're just free to really say what you think about something. But it's really sad and disheartening when these companies that are creating all this entertainment, instead of listening to the criticism and, changing their way of seeing things, they just want to call the fans names and saying that the fans are attacking actors. I mean, of course, there are probably some minority that is being a little unreasonable. However, I'm only talking about the show here in Tolkien's universe. And to me, the reason why the show is a big failure, it's because it does not feel like Tolkien. It is soulless. It does not feel like a fantasy world. Also, the problem that the producers themselves were saying that the show needs to look like nowadays, so you need to relate to. I mean, you're really missing the point here. People go watch entertainment, fantasy, this sort of like universe because they want to get away from reality. They want to be reminded of their reality. People don't want to go there to be reminded of all the stuff that is happening nowadays. That's not why Tolkien wrote fantasy. I mean, if you know the story, he started writing these stories when he was in the middle of war, so he could entertain his fellow soldiers. And I just think that they're really missing the point here. And to call the fans names, and not only that, just saying to the fans, oh, you don't like female strong characters, oh, you're angry because she's wielding a sword, you don't like strong female, like, if for crying out loud, you don't even know how to write female stories, and you cannot just make a half-ass job and just expect people to like it. It doesn't matter how many zeros this production cost. The end result is just doesn't feel like, or is nothing that Tolkien wrote about. They change characters. Look at the elves, for instance. The elves are supposed to be magical beings that you look at them and you just want to be like them, and sort of like envy because they're just so majestic. They have those beautiful hairs. They always look so great. And you look at the elves now, they just have pointy ears. The buzz cut, that just doesn't work. It doesn't look great. And it's really annoying when they want to blame fans that, oh, you don't like a strong female because Galadriel is this, yada, 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 which is, in fact, there's a lot of other material that came out that people had no problem with. We had a lot of strong female characters. Elwyn, for instance, on the Lord of the Rings. If you watch The Return of the King, I mean, she's a great character, and she's not just like waiting to be saved. She's not a damsel in distress, and I didn't see people complaining about that. Or even some certain things that Peter Jackson did in the film that didn't quite follow the book. people accept it because those films were made with so much care, you know, and the little changes that he made, it kind of makes sense within the plot. But what they did here to Galadriel, it's not just a small adjustment. They completely changed this character to an unlikable, angry person that is out for revenge, you know. And it's just really annoying that you're watching your main character is supposed to be your main hero, and you just don't like that character. Your series is not gonna work. I'm sorry. Episode 3 was another disaster. You know, Galadriel continues to be that vengeful person. She's supposed to be very wise because she's super old, but where's the wisdom there? It's just everything. There's just so much wrong with it, and it's really annoying because these people, they don't know how to write female stories, you know. They're just framing it as this is progressive because she has a sword. I mean, come on, we've seen that before, you know. Galadriel was beyond that. Her strength was not just physical. She was a great wizard. She was literally so awesome until you actually ruin the character. And now you know, they have to shut down reviews because, oh, you're not allowed to express your opinion. You just have to consume, but you can't really say if you like it, or you have to love it, you know. I'm sure that this sucks for Amazon because it did cost a lot of money. But the fact that they decided to go and detour from what Tolkien universe is just not just risky, it's dumb, you know, to change the, you know, like I said, if they just had done minor changes. I finished watching The Return of the King, and to me, it's a masterpiece, you know. Is it faithful to the book? Not every single thing. I mean, it's really close, but there's some things that he had to change, but the movie really looks like fantasy. It really takes you into that universe. It's just made with care, and the acting is on point. Here, there's just negatives. Like, the acting isn't great. The costume doesn't look that great. The elves, they just don't even look like elves. Like, they're not majestic anymore. They're just like, I don't know. Galadriel, it's extremely unlikable. The plot is really boring. It doesn't seem to be taking you anywhere. I mean, I'm extremely disappointed. I'm sorry, but to be calling the fans terrible names and saying that you're not allowed to criticize the show because you're racist or you don't like female, it's just nonsense. It really shows that you're just digging your own grave, in my own opinion, because are you going to continue this show? Are you going to listen to criticism? I mean, this is just stupid. I mean, I was just thinking of the Sony films. Remember when the trailer came out and people were like absolutely horrified with the look, and then what the studios did, they actually said, let's listen to this criticism, and they completely upgraded, and the movie was a huge success. So that's a studio that was really intelligent because they listened to the criticism and they upgraded it. But here, from the beginning, it seems like they all they want to do is just use the Lord of the Rings brand to create some sort of narrative and agenda that people are just not interested. Now, you're not going to watch Lord of the Rings because you want to be reminded of your world. You actually want to forget your world and you want to get into fantasy. You want to just be taking it to Middle Earth. And I think that they really missed the point here. And as long as they continue to shut down people's reviews, I don't think that's just gonna change, you know. Like I said, I am really disappointed with the work that they gave us. And sometimes calling people name is just not right. I know that, for instance, I'm just going to give another example. When House of Dragon came out, the casting, a lot of people did not want Matt Smith to be Daemon, saying, oh, he isn't handsome enough and yada, yada, yada. And then the show comes out and he's just like so good that he becomes one of fans' favorite. Everyone loves him now because the story was good and the acting was great. But this is what is missing in the Lord of the Rings, you know. You don't just see different choices for casting, but you also see terrible plot lines that do not make any sense, you know. Maybe if the plot made sense and the acting was good, people would forget about that and even forgive. Okay, even though there's no reason to do that, you want to bring diversity to the Lord of the Rings. I mean, not to mention that it is already a world that has a lot of different races. One of the races that could be diverse is definitely humans. Humans have people of every color, every size, every look, but no, they want to go and specifically change the elves because the elves are because they want to get people talking. That's what it is. And like I said, if they had at least kept true to the Tolkien material, people might not even care that the elves looked a little bit different. But I literally, because the plot was so boring, I was speaking at every single thing. I even saw where they applied the ear here. It's just not good. And I think it's just, I guess, as long as they continue to blame fans and calling people names and putting articles out there that offend people, they're just going in the wrong direction, you know, especially if you wanted to be the next Game of Thrones. You should not have just done a terrible copy paste of the original, because if you look at the characters from the Rings of Power, they're literally versions, terrible versions of the original characters. I mean, you have some sort of a Gandalf guy that is dumbed down. You have Frodo and Sam that's now two Frodo and Sam that literally looked so dirty. They are always like with leaves in their hair, and they seem to, it's just like there's a lot of stuff that, like, why did they go to this route? Why did they decide to do this kind of stuff? You know, Tolkien universe is so rich. There's so many things. All you had to do is just follow the books. But no, it's also a lot of arrogance because they think they could do a better job than Tolkien themselves. And I guess it didn't work on their favor. But anyways, guys, that is my thought on the media attacking the fans. I just think that, or not only that, even the studio themselves shutting down the reviews, I think that's just not going to be good on their side, because people are just not going to support the show. And if you don't have an audience for it, you just literally through all that billions and millions, I don't even know how much it cost, but we know it cost a lot, to the trash. That was just a huge waste of money, and that's all because they are arrogant enough to think that they could do a better job than Tolkien, especially when you wanted to compare Lord of the Rings to nowadays. I mean, are you kidding me? Anyways, guys, enough. Just drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about all this craziness with the media. Do you think that they are right to condemn the fans like that? I'm pretty sure a lot of you are on the side that no, they are completely wrong and they just should have followed the source material. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.